Hey legends, and welcome back to the sim racing channel, where we're kind of doing real racing for a change. The footage that you're seeing was taken around about May of 2019 during my very first visit to the Nürburgring Nordschleife. So we booked in with Apex Taxi in their McLaren 600 LT on the first Gran Turismo track day. The track had just kind of closed for the track day. It had opened up for about an hour or two of TF before closing for the night, so we basically got in as one of the first cars as part of TF onto the track. We also got doubly lucky because when we showed up, our driver was none other than Robert Mitchell, the actual owner of the company, so I was super excited. For those of you who want a version of this video without the commentary, I actually did put this up way back when this channel had maybe 50 subs or so nobody saw it. I'm going to link it right at the end of this video, so if you don't want to hear me commentating and talking over the experience, go for that one. I'll put it in the description down below as well. I was super stoked. McLarens are my favorite supercars in the world, and here we go. Nothing quite prepares you for that acceleration down Tiergarten, like 600 horsepower just blasting you down under the bridge. Coming up to the S's leading to the start of the track. And as Robert says, nothing quite prepares you for the G-forces. The sims are amazing in rendering what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, short of just the physical forces pummeling your body. And I remember being astounded as to how much more fun it was just simply due to the near pain that you're feeling when you go through these corners. And it's good to see how playful the car is as well, even in real life. ACC, maybe take a note. That was a drift. That's how they're done. Sorry, I had to sneak that in there. I can't. Would it even be my channel if I wasn't taking pot shots at ACC? So this was just after the repaving of the track. You see me noticing the fact that they brought in the barrier there. They'd repaved certain sections. I think Flugplatz, just after Flugplatz around Schwedenkreuz, and some of the parts in sector 2 of the track as well, like the miss corner. We got an amazing run, so little traffic. It was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I couldn't stop smiling during the run because it was just so amazing. It was such a surreal feeling because after doing thousands of virtual laps, part of me felt like I'd been there before, but the other part of me knew consciously that I had never had. So it was this. There's no precedent for it in the human mind. You can tell that there's no way you can deal with it, and that's why I just kept smiling so much. I just felt like I'd done these corners so many times before, yet I'd never truly felt them either. This felt absolutely amazing. In sim racing, it's like one of the most banal corners, but in real life, the sustained G-force there feels so good. Coming up to my favorite part, the foxhole feels amazing. It's like the weight of gravity is just trying to shove your head down through your rectum or something. It's awesome. You can just watch my body here as I kind of bend forward due to the G-forces. And that's something I so miss when I play in the Sims, or when I drive in the Sims rather. The only one that recreates the experience as closely as possible for me has been the recent laser scan version of R-Factor, which is one of the reasons that I drive it so often. It's just to try and recreate this experience for myself. And I'm so envious of Robert and Co and people that live there that can do this every single day, you know, just do dozens of laps every day. I did consider relocating here, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime in the near future. I would have killed for a helmet lap. Sector 2, really nice, winding, and you know, the one thing that really gets you is the fact that you're going downhill here. When you're there in real life, you feel the elevation changes much more viscerally. My ears were popping like crazy, and that's something you don't really get a feel for in The Sims. You kind of get it based on the engine torque and how it's sliding around based on the cambering of the track. You can see we just came off the brand newly paved tarmac there. It didn't have the dip on the inside. No, Eamon, it did not have the dip on the inside. So they flattened out that run. It's not quite as exciting as it is in any of the laser scan sim tracks at the moment, which I'm sure you guys will see, I guess, you know, maybe if you go to the Nürburgring yourself, or if the laser scans get updated to reflect what the track is actually paved like now. I think this section as well, from memory, lost the dip on the outside, so you can just kind of accelerate. Yeah, you can see him accelerating right out without having to stress. In the sims, you know that you usually have to counter steer on the corner exit there to catch the bump on the outside. Love those downshifts in the McLaren. If anything, the McLaren 570S, the GT4 car in ACC recently gave me a whole swath of deja vu from listening to this car. It's not quite the same as having it come from right behind you, because the engine is literally right behind you in that car.
Not yet. Up here you're losing speed.
They've done such a good job rendering the sound and feel of the cars in ACC. The car develops this weird, almost siren-like sound at high speeds. I don't know what that's about in the 600 LT. Maybe if Robert sees this video, can tell us. Really gives you an idea of, I mean, we're just climbing for this entire time, and my ears are popping like crazy. And you're almost getting weather changes. It's now, like, it started off almost partially cloudy or not as sunny, now it's completely sunny, and certain other parts of the track are way cooler because they're like covered by the trees are covering the sun. It's, you can just imagine how when they're doing VLN races or the 24-hour...
Nice and bumpy up.
The carousel was awful. I absolutely loved it. Great run. Felt even worse in the BMW track car they have, because I think it has coilovers, and yeah, it was not a fun time. In Sector 3 now, coming up to my favourite part of the track as a whole. But yeah, as I was saying before, on the 24-hour races of VLN, you get an idea of how you're entering completely different weather conditions on this track. You can see it's kind of getting cloudy now. It was sunny before. I mean, the track would be cooling and heating just in real time. It'd be such a dynamic racing environment. Taking this section very gingerly, thank you, Robert. Gives you an appreciation for how much more quickly the GT3 cars go through here. So even in a supercar like the 600 LT, he's really had to back off not to lose the rear end. It is a playful car though, it's got very skinny front tyres, it's made to kind of drift around a little bit. It's not made for flat out speed. But I think one of the reasons it was one of the favourite taxis. And I was actually booked to do this again this year, around the same time of year, but unfortunately a unknown virus of unspecified origins kicked in, and the world shut down a little bit. So I'm a bit bummed. I was...
Taking people out, just cruising around, having a good time. It's fun picking through traffic because you get to see the speed comparisons, you know?
I was going to do it in their new Porsche GT2, sorry guys, Porsche GT2 RS, the Manti Racing kit as well. Would have been amazing. I know Robert just got the new 620R, which is pretty much the perfect car on paper for me. Like, I would kill for a taxi lap in that thing. I was actually willing to take one of the cars out for a lap myself. I was going to go out in a Polo or something like that and just kind of hammer it. See what that measly little engine could do around the Nordschleife. You know, maybe get me a plus 10-minute lap.
Sometimes after like a VLN race, it'll be more slippery.
He had some very interesting takes on rubbered in lines on this track. He was essentially saying that after a VLN race that it's more slippery on the line, the rubbered in line, than you might think. Whereas in the sims it's all about, you know, rubbering things in as much as you can. But we don't take into account things like oil spills that we have in the real world. I hope the sims start to incorporate more of those kind of elements. I figure if any sim's going to do it, it'll be ACC. They seem big on that sort of stuff. And coming to a close, this ended in the blink of an eye. I was so thrilled and so happy. I could have gone around a dozen more times. It just would have been great. But it's amazing how taxing it is on your body, feeling all of those forces. I would love that experience in sim racing. I would love to be able to treat it as cardiovascular exercise as well as sim racing. It's one of the things I dislike the most about sim racing is I can't double back. It doesn't double back as a workout unless I do like rally driving with the direct drive turned all the way up. But in the real world, it's just the forces alone are just buffeting your body. Yeah, there's Porsches everywhere in the parking lot. It's probably the most common car in the Nürburgring is the Porsche GT3 RS.
What do you do?
So, yeah, I'm going to cut it here as Robert and I kind of nerd out over our respective professions. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want to see it without commentary and just us kind of shooting it as it may be, click on the video link at the end of this or down in the description. So until next time, be sure to hit the sub for future, I don't know, weird Nürburgring dash cam footage and sim racing news. So until then, we'll see you guys later.